Introduction. Welcome to Mastering Mind Games, the Art of Psychological Influence, an ebook that unravels the secrets of manipulation and empowers you with the skills to navigate the intricate web of human psychology. Whether you're seeking to enhance your personal relationships, excel in your professional life, or simply understand the hidden mechanisms of influence, this guide is your gateway to mastering the art of psychological manipulation. In this digital compendium, we will delve into the depths of human behavior, exploring the strategies, tactics, and psychological principles that underpin effective manipulation. From subtle persuasion techniques to advanced mind control methods, this ebook serves as a comprehensive roadmap to understanding and harnessing the power of psychological influence. Throughout this journey, we will challenge traditional notions of manipulation, emphasizing ethical considerations and responsible use of these techniques. Our goal is not to exploit or harm others, but to provide you with the knowledge and skills necessary to navigate the complexities of human interaction with integrity and confidence. Are you ready to unlock the secrets of persuasion, decode the hidden messages in communication, and become a master of mind games? Prepare yourself for an eye-opening exploration into the depths of human psychology as we embark on a transformative journey. Together, let the art of psychological influence become your most powerful tool in shaping the outcomes you desire. Remember, with great power comes great responsibility. Let us proceed on this journey with an unwavering commitment to ethical conduct and a sincere desire to understand the intricate workings of the human mind. Get ready to master the art of psychological influence and unleash your full potential. Welcome to Mastering Mind Games, the Art of Psychological Influence. Let the games begin. Index. Introduction. Chapter 1. Understanding Manipulation. Defining Manipulation. The Psychology Behind Manipulation. Ethical Considerations. Chapter 2. The Power of Persuasion. The Science of Persuasion. Persuasive Communication Techniques. Influencing Decision-Making Processes. Overcoming Resistance. Chapter 3. Reading People, Body Language and Nonverbal Cues. Facial Expressions and Microexpressions. Detecting Deception. Understanding Emotional Triggers. Chapter 4. Establishing Trust and Connection. Mirroring. Building Rapport through Mimicry. Anchoring. Linking Emotions and Beliefs. Creating Authentic Connections. Building Trust and Credibility. Chapter 5. Building Ethical Influence. Influence through Framing. Cognitive Dissonance. The Power of Storytelling. Chapter 6. Perception and Influence. Manipulating Beliefs and Attitudes. Subliminal Messaging. Neurolinguistic Programming, NLP. Ethical Considerations and Boundaries. Chapter 7. Unconventional Techniques. Reverse Psychology. Influencing Behavior Indirectly. Humble Bragging. Subtle Self-Promotion. Labeling. Shaping Self-Perception and Behavior. Groupthink. Fostering Conformity within Groups. Chapter 8. Psychological Triggers. The Zygarnik Effect. Motivation and Unfinished Tasks. Emotional Contagion. Influencing Emotional States. The Bystander Effect. Individual Intervention in Emergencies. Understanding Cognitive Biases in Manipulation. Appendix. Recommended Reading List. Glossary. Sage 1. Understanding Manipulation. Defining Manipulation. Introduction. Manipulation is a complex and multifaceted concept that permeates various aspects of human interaction. In this chapter, we will explore the fundamental principles of manipulation, providing a clear and comprehensive definition that serves as a solid foundation for our journey into the art of psychological influence. Understanding manipulation. Manipulation can be broadly defined as the deliberate and skillful exertion of influence or control over others, often through subtle or deceptive means. It involves employing psychological tactics and strategies to shape the perceptions, thoughts, emotions, and behaviors of individuals or groups. Elements of manipulation. To fully grasp the concept of manipulation, we must dissect its key elements. Intent. Manipulation involves a purposeful intent to achieve a desired outcome or to gain an advantage over others. It is driven by a specific goal or objective, which may range from personal gain to influencing social dynamics or organizational power structures. Influence and control. At its core, manipulation revolves around the exertion of influence and control. It seeks to shape the beliefs, attitudes, decisions, and actions of individuals, often leading them to behave in ways they may not have chosen otherwise. Subtlety and deception. Manipulation often operates beneath the surface, employing subtle or covert tactics to influence others. It may involve the strategic use of language, nonverbal cues, emotional appeals, or even deceitful practices to shape perceptions and sway individuals in a desired direction. Power dynamics. Manipulation often occurs within power dynamics, where one party holds a perceived advantage or control over others. This power differential can be based on various factors such as social status, expertise, or emotional influence, allowing the manipulator to exploit vulnerabilities and influence outcomes. Ethical considerations. It is important to acknowledge that manipulation exists on a spectrum, ranging from benign forms of persuasion to manipulative practices that can harm individuals or exploit their vulnerabilities. As we delve deeper into the art of psychological influence, we will explore ethical considerations and responsible use of manipulation, emphasizing the importance of consent, respect, and empathy. Conclusion. By understanding the foundational aspects of manipulation, we lay the groundwork for our exploration of the art of psychological influence. The psychology behind manipulation. Introduction. To truly grasp the art of manipulation, it is essential to delve into the underlying psychological principles that drive human behavior and enable manipulation to take effect. In this chapter, we will explore the intricate workings of the human mind, shedding light on the psychological mechanisms that make manipulation possible. The power of perception. Perception plays a vital role in manipulation. Our brains constantly interpret and make sense of the world around us, but this process is subjective and susceptible to biases, cognitive shortcuts, and perceptual filters. Manipulators skillfully exploit these vulnerabilities, melding the perception of their targets and influencing how they interpret information and experiences. Cognitive biases. Cognitive biases are inherent tendencies or patterns of thinking that can lead to systematic errors in judgment and decision-making. Manipulators capitalize on these biases to steer individuals towards their desired outcomes. We will explore various cognitive biases, such as confirmation bias, anchoring bias, and availability bias, to understand how they contribute to the effectiveness of manipulation. Emotional triggers. Emotions play a powerful role in human decision-making and behavior. Manipulators understand how to tap into and manipulate these emotions to their advantage. By appealing to emotions such as fear, desire, or social validation, they can shape the emotional state of their targets, influencing their thoughts, decisions, and actions. Social dynamics. Humans are social creatures, and our behavior is heavily influenced by the social contexts we find ourselves in. Manipulators exploit social dynamics, such as conformity, social proof, and authority, to gain compliance and control. Understanding these dynamics will enable us to navigate and resist manipulation more effectively. Persuasive techniques. Manipulation often relies on persuasive techniques to influence others. These techniques include storytelling, rhetorical devices, framing, and the use of influential language. By understanding the principles behind these techniques, we can recognize and assess the persuasive efforts of manipulators. Psychological vulnerabilities. Manipulation preys upon certain psychological vulnerabilities, such as low self-esteem, insecurities, and the need for belonging. Manipulators identify and exploit these vulnerabilities to gain control and influence over their targets. Developing self-awareness and building emotional resilience can help protect against such manipulative tactics. Conclusion. By delving into the psychology behind manipulation, we gain valuable insights into the intricate workings of the human mind and the vulnerabilities that manipulators exploit. Armed with this understanding, we can become more discerning, aware, and resilient, enabling us to navigate the complex landscape of manipulation with greater clarity and control. Ethical considerations. Introduction. As we explore the art of manipulation, it is crucial to address the ethical implications that arise from wielding such influence over others. Ethical considerations guide our actions, ensuring that we approach manipulation with integrity, respect, and responsibility. In this chapter, we will delve into the ethical dimensions of manipulation, emphasizing the importance of ethical conduct and the potential consequences of crossing ethical boundaries. Respecting autonomy and consent. At the heart of ethical manipulation lies the respect for autonomy and the consent of individuals. It is essential to recognize and uphold the right of individuals to make their own decisions, free from coercion or undue influence. Consent should be informed and voluntary, allowing individuals to exercise their agency without manipulation or deception. Avoiding harm and exploitation. Ethical manipulation requires a commitment to avoiding harm and preventing exploitation. Manipulation should not inflict emotional, psychological, or physical harm upon others. It should not exploit vulnerabilities or manipulate individuals for personal gain at their expense. A responsible manipulator takes into account the well-being and dignity of others, ensuring that their influence promotes positive outcomes. Balancing power dynamics. Power dynamics are inherent in manipulation. It is important to be aware of power imbalances and strive for fairness and equity in our interactions. Ethical manipulation seeks to empower individuals rather than exert control over them. By fostering mutual respect and equality, we can navigate manipulation with integrity, transparency, and honesty. Ethical manipulation emphasizes transparency and honesty in communication. Manipulators should strive to provide accurate information, refrain from deception or manipulation through omission, and communicate their intentions openly. Transparency fosters trust and allows individuals to make informed decisions based on a complete understanding of the situation. Responsible use of influence. Manipulative techniques should be employed responsibly and with consideration for the potential impact on others. This involves critically assessing the intentions behind our actions, considering the short-term and long-term consequences, and ensuring that our influence aligns with ethical principles and values. Responsible use of influence requires reflection, self-awareness, and an ongoing commitment to personal growth. Continual ethical evaluation. Ethical considerations are not fixed. They evolve with time and context. As manipulators, it is crucial to engage in ongoing ethical evaluation and reflection. This involves critically examining our motives, staying informed about ethical frameworks and societal norms, and being open to feedback and perspectives that challenge our own. By continually reassessing our ethical stance, we can adapt and grow as ethical manipulators. Conclusion. Ethical considerations serve as a guiding framework for the responsible practice of manipulation. By upholding principles of autonomy, consent, avoiding harm, and maintaining transparency, we can navigate the complex terrain of manipulation with integrity and respect. The ethical dimensions of manipulation remind us of our responsibility to wield influence responsibly and in a manner that promotes positive outcomes for all involved. Chapter 2. The Power of Persuasion. The Science of Persuasion. Introduction. Persuasion is an essential component of manipulation, allowing us to influence the beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors of others. In this chapter, we will delve into the science of persuasion, exploring the psychological principles and techniques that make persuasion a powerful tool in the art of manipulation. Understanding persuasion. Persuasion is the process of intentionally shaping the thoughts, feelings, and actions of others through communication and influence. It involves appealing to individuals' cognitive and emotional processes to change their attitudes, beliefs, or behaviors. By understanding the science behind persuasion, we can unlock its potential and employ it effectively. Principles of persuasion. Robert Cialdini, a renowned social psychologist, identified 6 principles of persuasion that are fundamental to influencing others. These principles include reciprocity, consistency, social proof, liking, authority, and scarcity. We will explore each principle in detail, examining how they work and how they can be used within the context of manipulation. Reciprocity. The principle of reciprocity suggests that individuals feel compelled to reciprocate when someone does something for them. By offering favors, gifts, or acts of kindness, manipulators can create a sense of obligation in others, making them more likely to comply with subsequent requests. Consistency. People have a strong desire to behave consistently with their previous commitments and actions. Manipulators can use this principle by gaining initial small commitments from their targets, making it more likely for them to agree to larger requests or changes in behavior later on. Social proof. Humans are social beings who often look to others for guidance on how to behave in certain situations. By highlighting the actions or opinions of others, manipulators can create a sense of social proof, leading individuals to conform to the perceived norms of the group. Liking. People are more likely to be influenced by those they like and find attractive. Manipulators can enhance their persuasive power by building rapport, establishing common ground, and appealing to individuals' desires for acceptance and belonging. Authority. Individuals tend to defer to those they perceive as authoritative or knowledgeable. In a given domain, manipulators can leverage this principle by establishing their expertise, credentials, or position of authority to gain compliance and influence others. Scarcity. The principle of scarcity suggests that people value and desire things that are perceived as rare or limited in availability. Manipulators can create a sense of urgency or scarcity to increase the desirability of what they offer, prompting individuals to act quickly to secure it. Applying persuasion techniques. Understanding the science of persuasion enables us to apply various techniques effectively. These techniques include storytelling, use of emotions, framing, social validation, and the use of persuasive language. By employing these techniques strategically, manipulators can enhance their persuasive power and shape the beliefs and behaviors of others. Ethical considerations. It is important to note that while persuasion can be a valuable tool, it must be used ethically and responsibly. We must consider the well-being and autonomy of others, ensuring that our persuasive efforts align with ethical principles and respect the rights and choices of individuals. Conclusion. The science of persuasion provides valuable insights into the psychological principles that underpin effective influence. By understanding and applying these principles, manipulators can become more adept at shaping the thoughts, feelings, and behaviors of others. However, it is essential to approach persuasion with ethical considerations in mind, using our influence responsibly and respecting the autonomy and well-being of those we seek to persuade. Persuasive communication techniques. Introduction. Effective communication lies at the heart of persuasion. In this chapter, we will explore a range of persuasive communication techniques that manipulators employ to influence others. By understanding these techniques and their underlying principles, we can enhance our persuasive abilities and navigate the realm of manipulation with greater efficacy. Understanding the power of language. Language is a powerful tool in persuasion. The words we choose and how we convey our message can significantly impact the receptiveness and response of our audience. By mastering persuasive language techniques, manipulators can craft compelling messages that resonate with their targets. Emotional appeal. Appealing to emotions is a potent persuasive technique. Emotions have a profound impact on decision-making and behavior. Manipulators skillfully evoke emotions such as fear, desire, joy, or empathy to create a strong connection with their targets and influence their attitudes and actions. Storytelling. Storytelling is a persuasive technique that captivates and engages the audience on an emotional level. By weaving narratives that evoke empathy, curiosity, or identification, manipulators can effectively shape the beliefs and perspectives of their targets. Stories have the power to elicit emotional responses, making messages more memorable and persuasive. Social validation. People are influenced by the actions and opinions of others, particularly those they perceive as similar or credible. Manipulators leverage social validation by showcasing testimonials, reviews, or endorsements to convince their targets that their desired beliefs or actions are widely accepted and valued. Framing. Framing refers to how information is presented or framed to influence perceptions and decision-making. Manipulators use framing techniques to shape the way individuals interpret and evaluate a particular situation or issue. By presenting information in a specific context, they can influence attitudes and guide individuals towards their desired conclusions. Rhetorical devices. Rhetorical devices are linguistic techniques that make communication more persuasive and engaging. These devices include metaphors, similes, repetition, rhetorical questions, and analogies. Manipulators employ these devices to enhance the impact and persuasiveness of their messages, capturing attention and evoking desired responses. Credibility and authority. Establishing credibility and authority is crucial in persuasive communication. Manipulators emphasize their expertise, credentials, or association with respected individuals or organizations to enhance their perceived credibility. By positioning themselves as knowledgeable and trustworthy sources, they increase the likelihood of their targets accepting their influence. Nonverbal communication. Nonverbal cues, such as body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice, play a significant role in persuasive communication. Manipulators pay close attention to their own nonverbal signals and those of their targets, using them to convey confidence, sincerity, and persuasive intent. Active listening and empathy. Effective persuasive communication involves active listening and empathy. By actively listening to the concerns and perspectives of their targets, manipulators can tailor their messages to address specific needs and desires. Demonstrating empathy builds trust and fosters a connection, making the targets more receptive to their influence. Ethical considerations. While persuasive communication techniques can be powerful, it is essential to use them ethically and responsibly. Respecting the autonomy and well-being of others should always be paramount. Ethical manipulators ensure that their persuasive efforts align with ethical principles, avoiding deception, manipulation, or coercion. Conclusion. Persuasive communication techniques are vital tools in the art of manipulation. By understanding and mastering these techniques, we can become more persuasive in our communication and influence. However, it is crucial to apply these techniques ethically, with a genuine concern for the well-being and autonomy of those we seek to persuade. Influencing decision-making processes. Introduction. Influence over decision-making processes is a key objective in manipulation. By understanding how individuals make decisions and the cognitive processes involved, manipulators can strategically shape choices and steer outcomes. In this chapter, we will explore the factors that influence decision-making and the techniques manipulators employ to sway decisions in their favor. Rational and emotional decision-making. Human decision-making is a complex interplay between rationality and emotions. Manipulators recognize this dynamic and leverage both rational and emotional factors to influence choices. Understanding the interplay between these two aspects allows us to navigate decision-making processes more effectively. Cognitive biases. Cognitive biases are inherent tendencies in human thinking that can lead to systematic errors. In judgment, manipulators exploit these biases to their advantage. We will explore a variety of cognitive biases, such as confirmation bias, availability bias, and anchoring bias, to Understand how they impact decision-making and how manipulators use them strategically. Anchoring and adjustment. The anchoring and adjustment heuristic is a cognitive bias where individuals rely heavily on an initial piece of information, the anchor, when making judgments or estimates. Manipulators set favorable anchors to influence subsequent decisions, leading individuals to make adjustments based on the initial anchor rather than considering the decision independently. Loss aversion. Loss aversion is the tendency to strongly prefer avoiding losses over acquiring gains. Manipulators play on this bias by emphasizing potential losses to instill fear or urgency, making individuals more likely to comply with their desired outcomes to avoid negative consequences. Framing effects. Framing refers to how information is presented, emphasizing certain aspects over others to influence decision-making. Manipulators strategically frame information to shape individuals' perceptions and preferences, guiding them towards specific choices or actions. Positive. Framing highlights benefits, while negative framing emphasizes risks or losses. Choice architecture. Choice architecture involves designing the way choices are presented to individuals, influencing their decision-making. Manipulators structure choices to steer individuals towards preferred options. By manipulating the presentation of alternatives, the default choice, or the order of options, they influence decisions without overt coercion. Influence through social proof. Social proof is the tendency to conform to the behavior or opinions of others. Manipulators employ social proof by showcasing testimonials, endorsements, or statistics to imply that others have already made a particular choice. This creates a sense of normative influence, leading individuals to follow the perceived majority. Nudging. Nudging involves subtly guiding individuals towards desirable choices by altering the presentation of options or altering the decision context. Manipulators utilize nudges to influence decisions without explicit coercion or manipulation, making specific choices more salient or attractive through subtle changes in the decision environment. Ethical considerations. While influencing decision-making processes is a central aspect of manipulation, ethical considerations should always guide our actions. Respecting individual autonomy, providing accurate information, and ensuring transparency are essential in influencing decisions. Ethically, it is crucial to strike a balance between effective persuasion and the ethical use of influence. Conclusion. Understanding the factors that influence decision-making processes equips manipulators with powerful tools to shape choices and outcomes. By leveraging cognitive biases, framing, effects, social proof, and other techniques, manipulators can guide individuals towards their desired decisions. However, ethical considerations must always be at the forefront, ensuring that our influence aligns with respect for autonomy and responsible use of manipulation. Overcoming resistance. Introduction. Resistance is a natural response to manipulation, as individuals may possess their own beliefs, values, and desires that conflict with the manipulator's objectives. Skilled manipulators understand this resistance and employ various strategies to overcome it. In this chapter, we will explore techniques that manipulators use to overcome resistance and increase their chances of successfully influencing others. Building rapport and trust. Establishing rapport and trust is a crucial step in overcoming resistance. Manipulators invest time and effort in building authentic connections with their targets, demonstrating empathy, active listening, and understanding. By fostering a sense of trust, they create an environment where resistance is more likely to diminish. Addressing concerns and objections. Resistance often arises from genuine concerns, objections, or doubts. Manipulators anticipate and address these concerns by actively listening and empathizing with the perspectives of their targets. They provide explanations, evidence, or reassurances to alleviate concerns and reduce resistance, making their influence more compelling. Creating shared goals and values. Manipulators strive to align their objectives with the goals and values of their targets. By demonstrating how their influence supports the shared aspirations or principles, they reduce resistance, and increase the perceived compatibility between their desired outcomes and the interests of their targets. This alignment fosters cooperation and reduces resistance. Facial expressions and microexpressions. Introduction. Facial expressions are windows into our emotions, revealing our true feelings even when we try to conceal them. In this chapter, we will explore the significance of facial expressions, including microexpressions, and how they can be interpreted to gain deeper insights into individuals' emotions and intentions. Understanding facial expressions empowers manipulators to read people more accurately and tailor their persuasive efforts accordingly. The language of facial expressions. Facial expressions are a universal form of nonverbal communication. They convey a wide range of emotions, including happiness, sadness, anger, fear, surprise, and disgust. Manipulators recognize that facial expressions are key indicators of an individual's emotional state and can provide valuable insights into their thoughts, reactions, and receptiveness to influence. Basic facial expressions. There are 7 basic facial expressions that are universally recognized: happiness, sadness, anger, fear, surprise, disgust, and contempt. Manipulators are adept at identifying and interpreting these expressions, which can help them gauge individuals' emotional responses and tailor their persuasive strategies accordingly. Microexpressions. Microexpressions are fleeting facial expressions that occur involuntarily and last for just a fraction of a second. They often reveal concealed emotions that individuals try to suppress or hide. Manipulators keenly observe microexpressions to detect true feelings or reactions that may differ from the displayed emotions. These brief glimpses into genuine emotions provide manipulators with critical insights for adjusting their persuasive efforts. Detecting microexpressions. Detecting microexpressions requires keen observation and practice. Manipulators pay attention to subtle facial muscle movements, such as a flash of sadness, a hint of anger, or a momentary smirk, which can indicate concealed emotions. By honing their ability to recognize and interpret these fleeting expressions, manipulators gain a deeper understanding of individuals' true emotional states. Emotional leakage. Emotional leakage occurs when suppressed emotions subtly leak through facial expressions or other nonverbal cues, despite an individual's attempt to conceal them. Manipulators closely observe for signs of emotional leakage, which can provide valuable information about a person's true feelings or underlying intentions. Recognizing emotional leakage helps manipulators tailor their persuasive strategies and address hidden concerns or motivations. Contextual analysis. Facial expressions should be interpreted in the context of the situation and individual characteristics. Manipulators consider the broader context of the interaction, including verbal communication, body language, and situational factors, to accurately interpret facial expressions. Contextual analysis allows manipulators to distinguish between genuine emotions and expressions that may be influenced by other factors. Cultural variations. While some facial expressions are universally recognized, cultural variations exist in how emotions are expressed and interpreted. Manipulators remain sensitive to cultural norms and adapt their interpretation of facial expressions accordingly. Recognizing cultural variations ensures that manipulators accurately read people from diverse cultural backgrounds and avoid misinterpretations. Combining facial expressions with other cues. Facial expressions do not exist in isolation. Manipulators combine their observations of facial expressions with other nonverbal cues, such as body language, vocal tone, and verbal content, to gain a comprehensive understanding of an individual's emotional state and intentions. This integrated approach enhances their ability to read people accurately and tailor their persuasive strategies effectively. Continuous practice and adaptation. Reading facial expressions, including microexpressions, is a skill that requires continuous practice and refinement. Manipulators engage in regular observation and analysis of facial cues, honing their ability to recognize and interpret emotions. they adapt their strategies based on new insights, ensuring they remain attuned to the dynamic nature of facial expressions. Ethical considerations. While interpreting facial expressions is a valuable skill, ethical considerations must guide our actions. Respecting individuals' privacy, autonomy, and emotional well-being is of utmost importance. Manipulators should use their understanding of facial expressions responsibly, avoiding manipulation or harm, and always considering the ethical implications of their actions. Conclusion. Facial expressions, including microexpressions, serve as windows into individuals' emotions and intentions. Manipulators who understand and interpret these cues accurately can gain deeper insights into people's true feelings and tailor their persuasive efforts accordingly. However, it is crucial to apply this knowledge ethically, always respecting individuals' autonomy and emotional well-being. Detecting deception. Introduction. Detecting deception is a valuable skill in manipulation, allowing manipulators to identify when individuals are being dishonest or concealing information. In this chapter, we will explore techniques and cues that can help in detecting deception, enabling manipulators to read people more accurately and adjust their persuasive strategies accordingly. Understanding deception. Deception involves intentionally misleading others by withholding or distorting information. Manipulators recognize that deception can undermine their efforts and lead to ineffective influence. By understanding the nature of deception, manipulators can become more adept at detecting it and responding appropriately. Baseline behaviors. Establishing a baseline of an individual's normal behavior is crucial for detecting deception. Manipulators observe the person's typical nonverbal cues, such as body language, facial expressions, and vocal patterns, in situations where deception is unlikely. This baseline allows them to notice deviations that may indicate deception when compared to the person's usual behavior. Inconsistencies. Inconsistencies in verbal and nonverbal behavior can be strong indicators of deception. Manipulators closely analyze the congruence between a person's words, facial expressions, and body language. Inconsistencies may manifest as contradictory statements, mismatched emotional displays, or discrepancies in the timing of responses. Detecting these inconsistencies can raise suspicions of deception. Microexpressions and facial cues. Microexpressions and subtle facial cues can provide valuable clues to detect deception. Manipulators keenly observe fleeting expressions, such as flashes of fear, contempt, or surprise, which may reveal concealed emotions or reactions. In addition, certain facial cues, such as averted gaze, fidgeting, or excessive blinking, can signal discomfort or potential deception. Verbal indicators. Verbal cues can also offer insights into potential deception. Manipulators listen for verbal indicators, such as vague or evasive responses, excessive use of qualifiers or hedging language, inconsistencies in details, or a lack of coherence in storytelling. These verbal cues may suggest attempts to conceal or manipulate information. Changes in behavior. Deceptive individuals may exhibit changes in behavior, such as increased nervousness, tension, or defensive reactions. Manipulators pay close attention to sudden shifts in body language, vocal tone, or speech patterns that may indicate discomfort or attempts to hide the truth. Recognizing these changes can be instrumental in detecting deception. Eye contact and gaze. Eye contact and gaze patterns can be revealing when detecting deception. Manipulators observe deviations from an individual's baseline eye contact behaviors. Excessive or prolonged eye contact, a lack of eye contact, or rapid changes in gaze direction may indicate discomfort, potential dishonesty, or an attempt to avoid scrutiny. Timing and response patterns. The timing and patterns of responses can be indicative of deception. Manipulators observe delays in responding, unusually quick or rehearsed answers, or changes in speech rate. These timing and response patterns may suggest that the individual is carefully constructing their answers to deceive or manipulate. Cluster analysis. Detecting deception involves considering multiple cues in combination. Manipulators analyze clusters of behaviors, looking for a convergence of cues that collectively indicate deception. Multiple indicators, such as inconsistencies in verbal and nonverbal behavior, changes in demeanor and discomfort, provide a more comprehensive picture and increase the likelihood of accurately detecting deception. Contextual analysis. Detecting deception requires considering the broader context in which it occurs. Manipulators analyze the situational factors, motives, and potential consequences to better understand why someone might engage in deception. By assessing the context, manipulators can interpret behaviors and cues more accurately, avoiding misjudgments or false accusations. Ethical considerations. While detecting deception can be a valuable skill, ethical considerations must always guide our actions. Respecting individuals' privacy, autonomy, and dignity is paramount. Manipulators should use their ability to detect deception responsibly, avoiding the temptation to manipulate or harm others based solely on suspicions of deception. Conclusion. Detecting deception is an important skill for manipulators to accurately read people and adjust their persuasive strategies accordingly. By understanding cues such as inconsistencies, microexpressions, verbal indicators, and changes in behavior, manipulators can increase their ability to detect deception. However, it is crucial to apply this skill ethically, respecting individuals' autonomy and well-being. Understanding emotional triggers. Introduction. In our journey of reading people and delving into the art of manipulation, it is essential to grasp the concept of emotional triggers. Emotional triggers are the hidden catalysts that ignite a person's emotional response, influencing their behavior and decisions. As manipulators, it is crucial to understand these triggers to effectively guide people towards the desired outcomes. The nature of emotional triggers. Emotions are a fundamental part of the human experience, influencing every aspect of our lives. Understanding emotional triggers allows us to comprehend the complexities of human behavior better. These triggers can be positive or negative, and they vary from person to person based on individual experiences, beliefs, and values. Positive emotional triggers may include feelings of joy, love, and appreciation, while negative triggers may encompass fear, anger, and sadness. As manipulators, we must recognize the potential power of these triggers and use them judiciously to influence others without causing harm or exploiting vulnerabilities. Identifying emotional triggers. To read people effectively, we must become adept at identifying emotional triggers. This process requires keen observation, active listening, and empathy. Pay attention to verbal cues, body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice. Note how individuals react to different situations and stimuli, as this can reveal valuable insights into their emotional triggers. Be cautious not to jump to conclusions or make assumptions based on limited information. Emotional triggers can be complex and multifaceted, so take the time to gather as much data as possible to form a comprehensive understanding of a person's triggers. Common emotional triggers. While emotional triggers are unique to each individual, there are some universal triggers that tend to evoke strong responses in people. Some common emotional triggers include self-image and ego. Many individuals are highly sensitive about their self-image and ego. Praise, validation, or criticism related to their abilities or appearance can trigger intense emotional responses. Fear of loss. Fear of losing loved ones, possessions, or opportunities can be a powerful emotional trigger. Manipulators can use this trigger to influence decisions or actions by presenting potential losses. Desire for acceptance. The need for acceptance and belonging is a fundamental human desire. Manipulators can exploit this trigger by offering acceptance, validation, or belonging in exchange for compliance. Injustice and fairness. People often react strongly when they perceive injustice or unfairness. Manipulators can appeal to this trigger by framing situations to provoke feelings of injustice and subsequently guiding the desired response. Utilizing emotional triggers responsibly. Understanding emotional triggers comes with great responsibility. As manipulators, we must use this knowledge ethically and responsibly. The intention should not be to harm or exploit others, but to create win-win situations where all parties benefit. Be aware of the potential consequences of manipulating emotional triggers negatively. It can lead to broken trust, damaged relationships, and long-term psychological harm to individuals. Instead, focus on using emotional triggers to inspire positive change, personal growth, and mutual understanding. Cultivating empathy and emotional intelligence. To navigate the realm of emotional triggers effectively, empathy and emotional intelligence are invaluable tools. Empathy allows us to connect with others on a deeper level, understand their emotions, and acknowledge their perspectives. Emotional intelligence helps us regulate our own emotions and respond to others with sensitivity and understanding. Conclusion: understanding emotional triggers is an essential component of reading people and mastering the art of manipulation. By identifying these triggers, we can influence others ethically and responsibly to achieve shared goals and foster meaningful relationships. Remember, with great power comes great responsibility, and utilizing emotional triggers should always be approached with empathy and care. In the subsequent chapters, we will explore advanced manipulation techniques that align with ethical principles, ensuring a balanced and respectful approach to influence.